Hello, everyone, and today we are going to talk about writing and translating. It's a fancy word. Writing and translating algebraic expressions. So, what's going to happen today is they're going to give us a situation written out in words or as a word problem, and they're going to want us to take those words, translate them into an expression with a variable, an operation, and possibly numbers as well. So we have to be on our A game when it comes to knowing our operation words. So let's review those real quick. These are just some of the words that tell us what operation is happening. These are some of the words that if you really think about them, you should be able to kind of figure out what operation they're talking about on your own without having a list to refer to. For example, if I'm talking about the total, I'm talking about getting a grand total of something. That means adding something up. Okay, I'm going to combine everything together. That is addition. If I'm talking about losing something, that means it's being subtracted from my life. That is subtraction. Multiplication means that things are growing very rapidly and very quickly. So maybe they're being doubled or tripled. Division means that things are being split up or cut into pieces, equal size pieces of things. We're dividing something up into groups. Again, that represents division. So again, you don't have to have a list of clue words in front of you all the time to tell you what operation you're using. Think about the words and think about, okay, what is the math that is going to be happening here because of the words they used. So let's go ahead and practice some fairly simple ones, and then we'll do a word problem. It says write an expression for each situation. Now, in each of these expressions, we're going to have a variable, we're going to have an operation, and we're probably also going to have a number. Something is happening to the variable. Unless they tell you what variable to use in the problem, you get to choose your letter. So you can choose any letter. I recommend staying away from I's and L's and O's because they all look kind of like ones and zeros. I also stay away from S's because my S's tend to look like fives and then I get confused. But you can use any letter that you want to. I could use M all the time because I'm Miss Meek. It really doesn't matter. Unless they tell you what letter to use as your variable, you can decide. And in all of these, they do not tell us what letter to use. So I'm going to be using M for Miss Meek. So in the first one, it says the sum of a number and 10. The sum of a number, that is our variable. They're telling us we're adding something and 10 together. So this is my variable. And sum is an addition word. Okay, sum is telling me we are adding two things together here. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. So my expression here is going to be my variable, M, plus is the operation. The number is 10. So I'm adding M plus 10. This is my expression. So that's what they want you to write, is an expression. Let's take a look at the next one. 5 less than a number. Again, that number right there is my unknown amount. It is my variable. And it says I have 5 less than that. So that means that I have my amount, M, which I don't know. It could be 100. It could be 1 for all I know. I have my unknown amount, M, and I have 5 less than that. So less than right here tells me that I'm taking away from something. I'm losing something. That is subtraction. So I am subtracting 5 is the number. So my expression is M minus 5. Now be careful on this one that you don't put 5 minus M. That is not what this situation is saying. This situation is saying that I have 5 less than this total amount. So that means that I have my total amount and I'm taking away 5 from it. Okay, again, less than is one of those words where this number here is going to get thrown behind your variable because you're taking it away from your variable. So make sure you get the order correct because order matters when we subtract. It also matters when we divide. Number 3, 7 times a number. Again, that number right there, that unknown number is my variable M. And this one I feel like is pretty straightforward. It says 7 times. So that makes me feel like I am multiplying here, that I am multiplying Times is multiplication, and I'm taking my number 7, and we are multiplying it times m. And so remember, another way that I can just write this is I can just write 7m together. And again, we want to get used to seeing it that way, because as we progress in our math, that is how they're going to be writing it. They'll be taking away that multiplication symbol there. All right, 40 added to twice a number. So there's a couple things going on here. Again, I have that number, my variable, my m, and it says that 40 is being added to it. So this one's pretty straightforward. Added to it, we're adding. But we have a second thing here. It says twice. Okay, twice means we are multiplying times 2. So what's happening here is that I have 2. Oh, excuse me. Let me change colors here. I have 2, and it's being multiplied times my m, and that's not all. I'm also adding 40 to all of that. So again, my final answer here would be 2m plus that number 40 right there. So my final expression would look like this. So sometimes we will have multiple things happening in our words, and we have to interpret them correctly. Let's take a look at a word problem real quick. It says write an expression for the situation. It says Sarah had a certain number of candy bars. Do they tell us how many candy bars Sarah has? No. They do not tell us how many candy bars Sarah has. A certain number of candy bars. This is my unknown value. This is going to be my variable. I am going to use C for candy bars, okay? The next day, the number of candy bars doubled. Doubled means multiplied times 2. So right now, I have my candy bars, C, and what has happened to them so far is we have multiplied them times 2, okay? A week later, she gave 10 candy bars away. Giving things away is subtraction. So we are subtracting how many candy bars? 10. So my final expression written all together is going to be 2c minus 10. That is what's happening in this situation. So what's really cool is when we write this expression, if they go on to tell us Sarah initially had 10 candy bars or whatever, we could plug a 10 in at this c right here, and then we can figure out how many candy bars Sarah has now. Okay, they don't give us that information. They just want us to write the expression, but that is something that we could potentially do if they gave us how many candy bars Sarah had to begin with. So we could plug that in and solve. All right, this is how we write and translate expressions. This is one of those things that the more you practice it, the better you get at, the more you are able to interpret those words for those operations and kind of piece everything together. So practice, practice, practice on this one. I hope that this helped clear up any of your confusion. I'll talk to you later. Bye.